you can see that the case was well set up, was a well plot. The whole plot is to get established in Georgia a precedence to go after Christian ministers, to go after black, wealthy ministers in their big churches, and they're trying to use us as an example. That's why they wouldn't let us remain a lodge or fraternity. They had to turn us into a church and a cult. And regardless how many times it gets proven we wasn't a religious organization, they would pull us back. Every time it was proven we was a tribe of Indians, they would pull it back to religion. It was pumping that during the trial to the point where, out of all the evidence that the jury asked for, they asked for our holy book, something that wasn't even entered into evidence. They didn't ask for any of the documents about DNA, or the documents of the medical records, or the statements. They asked for a holy book that was not even a part of the case, and the judge had to turn it down. Well, they asked us, we said, sure, they can send it. The prosecution said, no, don't send it down. And the judge said no, because the prosecution and the judge was all working together through the whole case. That's why we tried to get the judge recused 3 times during the case, because when the prosecution was failing to find things, he would tell his assistant, look this up for me on the sidebar, whisper it, and then give it over to the prosecution. And was like, wait a minute, you can't do that. He said, I do what I feel like in my court, because I'm the gatekeeper here. And he just said, we knew right then it was a setup. I know I'm talking fast. I'm trying to get as much as I can on tape for your questions for the tape.
Working with the finance department, and when I would
just look it up.
One of his wives at the time, I don't know her English name, Lathada, but she called us in.
The reason why I asked this lady right here, ma'am, do me a favor, this lady right here who's just fanned through it. Flip some of the pages. I want you to look. This is supposed to be a Bible that you're looking at. You guys don't know that, but I just walked over and handed her the Bible from the cult. Go ahead, flip the pages. I want you to look at some of the pictures. It's like coloring book. You go ahead and look at the coloring book. Nah, flip it some more. There's a lot of pictures in there you need to see. Like those pictures. That's in the Bible, huh? Keep flipping. Keep flipping. You got her face? Keep flipping. Yeah, take a look at it. Yeah, okay. All right, so he would act like it was a mistake, and then...
Yeah, one of the sisters had pulled me to the side, one of his wives at the time, who used to be, coming around. She pulled me to the side, and she said that we were supposed to be...
Freedom of religion. The First Amendment of the Constitution contains some of the most fundamental freedoms of our country, including freedoms of speech, press, protest, assembly, and last but not least, religion. Religious liberty is a fundamental component of our society, and the separation between church and state is what made the founding of America so revolutionary. Many, if not most colonists, came to the New World seeking religious tolerance and the freedom to worship as they chose. By the time of the American Revolution, there were many denominations and churches in the colonies, competing with one another. The founders believed the only way to prevent the new nation from being torn apart by religious factions was to sever ties between the state and churches. The First Amendment was ratified in 1791. Freedom of religion as outlined in the First Amendment is split into 2 parts. The Establishment Clause. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. And the Free Exercise Clause, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. Basically, this language guaranteed that the government would have no official religion, nor would it prevent anyone from practicing their own beliefs. The phrase separation of church and state wasn't actually included in the Bill of Rights or the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson used the phrase in an 1802 letter to the Danbury Baptist Association. Well, in 1971, the Supreme Court in Lemon v. Kurtzman created a 3-pronged criteria to ensure government policies or acts do not violate religious freedoms. First, a policy cannot have a religious purpose. Second, it cannot end up promoting or favoring any set of religious beliefs. And third, it cannot overly involve the government with religion. So how does that translate into the real world? It's probably best exemplified in our public schools, where neither teachers nor students are allowed to lead a class in prayer, because that would mean the school is promoting a particular religion above others. Educators can teach about religion in the context of history, but can't preach its tenets or beliefs. Religious extracurricular activities can take place, but they must be organized and run by students and be held during non-school hours. The Founding Fathers, based on the experience of their ancestors and their own beliefs, managed to forge a government whose freedoms are as important today as they were then. And freedom of religion continues to be one of the most important liberties that makes America, America.
So what's interesting to me about it is the federal government, for the first time ever, put a religious organization on trial. They had never done that in the history of the United States. They charged the religious organization with racketeering. That's why they were able to do things. But how were they able to charge the religious organization with racketeering? Not because of sexual molestation.